So these guys just finished digging the trench out for the gas line, exactly where I painted for them to do it. Run the split off for the generator and then continue on that way around the side of that slab with another riser over there for pull heater. I'm not gonna walk back there. I'm kind of in bum gear today. Pulled something in my shoulder. I've been dealing with that for the last like 3-4 days. And I'm sick. It ain't COVID, but feeling a little under the weather, still trying to beat this. But they think we're gonna go get lunch and then come back and finish the day off over here with this gas line. So we'll get another video once everything's in the ground and connected and show you guys what we're dealing with. Alright, so here we go back on this again. I was sick for like 3 weeks. Well, two weeks, maybe a little over 2 weeks. Painted a house in the meantime, waiting for this stuff to dry up a little bit more. You can still see it's kind of wet. It's not too mushy though. But I actually started this back up yesterday. Got the pickets back on the fence here. Got all the little pavers, the border bricks, everything moved back to the backyard. Got my shop back again. The only thing that's left in there is the generator, which I don't know how I'm gonna move back here yet. That thing's pretty heavy, but started doing the layout on this. Oh yeah, I got the pressure washer going too to wash this slab off. When they did the gas line, they left a big mound of dirt here. It's no big deal. I told them just to leave it there. I'd clean it up, but pressure washer going, wash the slab off, started doing the layout. Was originally going to do the border bricks around the edge, but as you can see, it's exactly 3 feet, so that's not going to allow me to run any this way. It's going to kind of end up defeating the whole purpose of not trying to cut the bricks around like that conduit over there and everything. But you got the starting row here. That's pretty much where it's going to land. I'm just going to go 3 by, I think it's going to end up being 8 or 9 of them long. So we're going to save those border bricks for the other section in here, which we decided to swap them out with these thick ones over here, because I would have had to basically put those down the border, build a wall, and then fill it like a sand pit. And there's going to be way too much extra stuff to do this walkway through here. So getting started with this. I'm about to mix up the mortar and everything, and then we're gonna get going, basically setting these down. Okay, so I've got these pavers all set, mortar down, ready to go. Slab was a lot worse than what I originally anticipated. It's flat enough though. It's within, I think, about a 1/4 inch over the entire 8 feet, so the equipment's gonna get shimmed to level anyways, so that's gonna be okay. And the last one in there, just gotta figure out how I'm gonna cut around that conduit. So I left that one blank for now, but basically I'll take one more paver right there. So I'll give you guys an update as we get progress done. And so the mortar on this stuff actually set up a lot quicker than I thought it would. Went ahead and went to the United Rentals down the road, got the submersible wet pump for this thing, tied it off to the board here, and suspended it up off the top of the bottom of the pole a little bit so it wouldn't mess up any of the plaster. But got it going again. It's been on for about a minute. We're already about 2 inches down on the water line, so this thing's rated for pretty good GPM on the flow. But basically just got it routed around here. Stuck it in some of the 3-inch PVC that I'm going to be using for the drain. Suspended it up off the ground a little bit right here. that we have a shootout. It won't keep flooding all this back here. And basically just got it going out to the front yard. Let it drain out here where the grass is. Hopefully let some of this stuff soak it up. We'll get about an hour or two, come in here and see how bad this is. Might have to add a couple more links to this, get it out closer to the street, but I think it's gonna drain pretty good right here where it's at. So, give you guys an update here in a little bit. I got some residents here in the skimmer basket. This stuff was all dried when we started getting the water out. You can tell there's 2 in there. There was like 4. I guess a couple of them jumped out into the water. But the pump's been running for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So going pretty quick. All right, so quick rundown on how static pressure works. Now the water line is halfway up on all these returns here. You hear them all gurgling, making noise. But basically that just means that the water level not only is halfway on the pipes here, but it's starting to get to the point where it's below the plumbing coming out from behind the wall where it hooks up to the equipment. So once this stops bubbling right now, will mean that that plumbing coming out behind that wall no longer has water in it. Doesn't matter how high up, how far down the system goes, wherever your main water source, where all the pressure comes from, will always be the water level set for anything attached to that tank or reservoir. It's about 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. Got this much of the water drained out. Just went ahead and pressure washed it all. For the most part, it's getting majority of it off. There's a little bit of discoloration with it, so we're gonna probably have to wash it with acid, but I'm just waiting on the pump to finish up and finish doing the other half roughly. And start putting water back in it tonight. Okay, so we got most of the water out of the spa and down to the last about 6-8 inches in the center of the deep end over there. But just having to move that pump back further towards this shallow end, I had to redo the hose coming out of it. And since there's just a little bit of water left, I'm just draining it over here in the corner. Got down to this part here. This pressure washer, you can see where my foot slipped on that. I almost fell in this. Yeah, probably about another 30 minutes or so, be done with it, do a final rinse, and I'll pump out all the last dirty water and then start filling it back up and just let the hose sit in it pretty much overnight. So, literally got down to like the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 feet in this thing. And the pressure washer hose sprung a leak. I'm just gonna call it quits for tonight. I'm gonna have to go get another hose for this thing in the morning and finish this stuff off. I have to leave it empty overnight. I didn't really want to do that. I kind of wanted to leave the hose in it, let it start filling back up tonight, but can't finish cleaning it, and then I haven't even emptied the rest of the water out of the spa either, or really done any pressure washing in here yet. So that's where I'm at for the end of the day. I'll see you guys in the morning. Alright, so status update. Got more of the water out of the pool. Got it down to pretty much just this little bit on the floor. I got a pressure wash. Getting this last little bit of water out of here was kind of a... And doing with a dead frog in the bottom of here. I ripped one of his legs off. It got dead frog juice all on my mouth. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. But finish this off. Then we're gonna jump over here and basically do the same thing in the spa. Just finished cleaning it up. Most of the pressure washing is done. I'm gonna end up having to like acid wash this stuff or something though. So we'll do that maybe a month or two down the road once the water's back in circulated, filtered, everything. And then also have my plumber buddy here working on doing the pool equipment for me while I'm finished cleaning everything up. So we got everything going over here. Got all the equipment placed, and he's just basically starting with the plumbing here. So that's where we're at today. I'll give you guys an update here in a little bit. So it's about 3 a.m. Got to the stopping point for the day. Just got everything picked up, cleaned up, electric stuff put away where it won't get wet in case it rains. We caught a little bit of rain today, but we got a lot of the water back in the pool, enough that'll keep good coat on the bottom. I can just leave this running overnight so it'll fill up all the rest of the way. Went ahead and started circulating more water through the spa just to kind of give it a final rinse out, but ended up taking all 3 of the covers off to clean inside of those. Is a good thing. I ended up taking about 10 pounds of mud out of each one. Finally got all that stuff finished. Obviously the clean water's going in the pool now, and the plumbing is pretty much finished. The only thing different we did here, we added the check valve for the fill line on the pool coming back out to the deck. The fill line that comes out of the wall there where the tile's at, with a split off for an extra faucet here. One thing to say is this whole process, putting the long hose around the corners and everything, has been a real headache and a hassle. So this is just kind of a midway point between 2 others that are around the side of the house and then the one that's around the side of the house here. So rather than running that long hose everywhere, we put a shortened one here to be good for everything we got to do around the pool. But rerouted the blower motor so it'll be up here underneath the overhang, a little bit more protected from the elements. Came off all new plumbing across from where it was cut, right about even with that washout roughly. All new plumbing over, and then skimmer basket in the main drains at the bottom, into the motor, filter, out of the filter. And here's what I was talking about in the other video, was putting the T here to run the Polaris off for the booster pump. That way it'll have clean, freshly filtered, cool water going to the supply line for that. And being plumbed in here, we don't have to worry about having one of the Jandy valves facing the right way to get the proper amount of water flow to it, which is one of the, well, that's the whole reason why that pump burned up before we had to get it replaced. But about to get down in here barefoot. I messed my foot up with the pressure washer last night, but out to the heater back into the tube. So now the whole idea is to have these 2 valves, get a little bit more over it, 80/20. So we're gonna have most of this cut off. This is the return to the pool. We want the return to the spa going so that we have the spillway working to filter, or just rotate the fresh water out of the spa into the pool and circulate it back in through refilter it. Now we have the orientation of these 2 valves the same, and they'll never have to change. They stay right where they're at. They get locked down. Anytime the Polaris will come on, it'll be right where it needs to be to run, And we ever had to turn the heater on, we got hot water going directly back to the spa, the spa. So we already got the hot water. That's what that was for. Also was going back to the spa because that's mostly what we're going to be using the hot water for, is in the jacuzzi. In which case we just jump on down here and turn that the rest of the way. So, you know, I'm down here barefoot in the mud for you guys for these videos. Oh man, I've been out here for like 2 days doing this, so ain't nothing new. That's kind of where we're at for now. Tomorrow I'm gonna come in, do all the electrical work. You got the ground wire for the pool light coming across. They had that tied into the pump, the Polaris, and then across to the heater. Problem is, they didn't have that tied in to the ground rod in the ground over there by the electrical equipment. So I'm gonna take this tail, run it in here nice and neat somewhere, and then somewhere in here I'm gonna put a grounding block with an individual, like, dedicated run off of each piece of equipment to it, and then it's going to be back fed around to that grounding rod with a fresh ground clamp. So that, hook up the electric on all the equipment tomorrow, put the panels back on the heater, flip the breakers back on, verify that everything's good to go with that, and then kick the equipment on. That way we can start circulating this water. Probably just going to shock it, and then once it's good to go for the shock stuff, we're gonna probably just throw a can of like that yellow out, green out stuff in there, and then shock it again, and then check the pH. It should be good to go. But yep, that's pretty much where we're at. Oh man, there's a piece of freaking PVC in the bottom of the pool. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to go get that. Yeah. Keep a piece of trash PVC in there. I had to get that out. Okay. Alright guys. Well, till tomorrow, I'll show you guys a follow-up with all the electrical stuff. Have a good night. Alright, so the plumbing's all holding up. The only thing extra I had to do was plumb the Polaris pump into the return from the T underneath the output of the filter, and then looped it back around. I just used hose that I had left over. I might figure something else different out with that later. Redid all the electrical, put spade terminals on all the connectors inside the casings. Still have to do the ground wire run and connect it to the rod around the corner, but everything back here looks like it's holding up well. It's all good. Then the pool is all set where the spillway is working, coming over the spa. So basically it takes water from the pool through the skimmer basket, filters the surface of the water, and then puts clean water into the spa, and then pushes it back into the pool. It just kind of circulates everything, so you end up having kind of like a holding tank there. And then finish pressure washing all the deck. Everything back here is clean, ready to go, so nothing, no trash, debris, anything would fall into the pool. It's still a little bit of a, I don't know, like a turquoise, teal, something like that. Maybe that's still some of the algae and stuff on the plaster that I couldn't get off. So what I'm gonna end up doing is just putting a whole tub of the green to clean, and then 4 pounds of shock for the pool. So about to do that now, and then just kind of monitor it. Took the timer control knobs off of the dials, so that way we could just keep it running 24/7 until we get it where we want it. Let the vacuum go to pick up all the stuff on the bottom. It got most of it out of there the last time. It's been running for about an hour. But like I said, the plumbing is holding up, so we're gonna add the chemicals and then come back on it and show you guys how it looks. We're gonna probably check the pH on it and stuff at that point, just to verify it'd be safe to get in. Probably still gonna end up having to get the muriatic acid for the spa. That's still real dingy looking, and that was all pressure washed completely over. Didn't come off as easily as the pull stuff did, but no biggie. We'll get to that down the road. That's not at the top of the list of stuff that needs to get done. Obviously, we got all that groundwork and everything to do back there still, so we'll check back in and show you guys what it looks like after the first treatment, check the pH, and see what we got to do from there, if we got to add any more of the chemicals back in. So check you guys out later.